Good morning, everyone. It's Miss Amy. I'm in the garden. I'm actually just finishing up for the day and thought I'd give you a quick video update. I haven't done this in a while. These are the jalapenos. They are, Jalafuego is the variety name. They're long, they're hot, and they are plentiful. So if you want to do some for the freezer, if you want to dehydrate them, if you want to do poppers or popper dip, let me know. There's lots of them. I can pick a bulk order pretty quickly. The banana peppers are just starting to really come in. Might be time for me to pick about 30 or so and make some banana pepper rings. The tomatoes are doing okay. This humidity has some of the leaves getting yellow and brown, but I'll get those trimmed off in the next day or two. We've got lots of nice big slicing tomatoes that we'll have for the week. I've got some new things in the ground as well. I planted a bunch of beans. I planted more beets. There are more green onions coming. I've tried to move things around and put smaller patches of things here and there. That helps, especially in August when we have the heaviest insect load. If all of the beans are in one location, the insects will find them and do their naughty things to the beans. So I have 2 patches of beans like this that I seeded in yesterday as well. There's some green onions here. These are more tomatoes. I just seeded this bed yesterday with more spinach. This bed has little cilantro and then more that got seeded yesterday. These are the bell peppers, and they've been coming just a few at a time, which this is still kind of early for them. These are not quite ready. They'll need another 5 or 6 days maybe. It's going to be warmer as the week progresses, so we might get some of these to ripen up by the weekend. These are the salad tomatoes, and it's hard to tell from the pictures, but there are lots of them, lots and lots of them. They keep really well on the counter. They're nice, firm, meaty tomatoes. They're not sweet like a cherry or a grape. These are bred to be a regular tomato, but bred down to this 1.5 to 2 ounce size. When we have an abundance of them late in the season, we actually use them to make tomato sauce with. This is a patch of green beans. This is the second set of flowering that it has done. And I'm hoping that we'll have some beans for tomorrow. There were tons of little baby ones in here over the weekend. I haven't looked in there too much today. They've been really damp from the humidity. These are Big Mama tomatoes. They're a Roma style tomato. They're huge. That's how they got their name. But they have a lot of meat rather than a lot of water and seed pouch. They're very meaty. So they're great for making salsa. They're great for canning. You don't have to skin as many tomatoes to get your 20 pounds or however much you want out of them. Again, they're really just getting started. And this is kind of early for them, but they're going great. I've kept them trimmed up. I've kept them happy, kept them in some compost, and they are producing. I sent out my first batch of bulk tomatoes on Saturday, so I've never had bulk tomatoes this early. This is a little bed of spinach that was planted about 10 days ago. It gets sun in the morning, and then when the sun moves around, the tomatoes here that are really tall help give them some shade and some downtime. These are the Carmen peppers, and again, it's a little early for us to have huge crops of them, but we have had several that have gone to the farm stand, and people have been enjoying them. But again, I picked them pretty hard last week. They're going to take some time to get some new ones set and ready for harvest again. There's another bed of beans that's doing great. Wait until you see this. Look at these eggplant. It's so hard to show them on video. There are lots of them. They're all different sizes right now. and they're still flowering. That big one's going to go to the farm stand tomorrow. This is the best year that I have had with eggplant, and I think holding them back until after the really unusual weather for April is past and keeping them warm. It was so warm in May and June, and they like that warm weather, but they also need a lot of water. So I've been giving them some extra attention, and it's paid off. This row of tomatoes is the Determinate variety that I put in this year as a trial, and I'm super happy with the size of the tomatoes. I'm really happy with the quantity of tomatoes that are on them. They are taking longer to get red than I had expected. I really thought by the 10th of August these were going to be done and I'd be pulling the plants and putting something else in this bed, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But I'm still okay with that because of the number of tomatoes that it has already given and that it still has on the plant. I mean, again, there's all different sizes on this plant. Look at that big one. You probably can't see it for all the leaves. That thing's the size of a softball. The flowers are doing great. The zinnias have been attracting a lot of pollinators to the gardens. We've also seen more bird activity in the garden, and I think that they've been helping keep down the Japanese beetles. I had beetles early on in one of the pollinator beds, and I started seeing some wrens out here just flitting around in the beds and in the flowers and kind of burying themselves in those flowers. So I think that they were after those beetles, and I, knock on wood, haven't seen any beetles out here in a while. This bed has zucchini. This bed has zucchini and squash. Here's some more squash and zucchini. These are the San Marzano tomatoes. These are believed to be the original Roma tomato that all of the other varieties have come from. They are starting to get ripe. I sent, I think, 3 pounds of these out with a bulk order on Saturday. The ones that were down low and the plants had been trimmed up, those lower fruits really ripened up pretty quickly. So I've thinned these out again, and now the second set of blossoms in here is starting to turn as well. Now these 4 tomatoes went in at the same time that all of the other plants went in. This bed of San Marzanos was 2 weeks later. These beds were originally underneath that hoop house, and so I had to figure out what to do with the crops that were in here that were still producing. So these are the same San Marzano variety, but they're 2 weeks later. The plants are not quite as tall, but they're getting there, and they do have a lot of fruit. They're maybe not as plump yet, and there's certainly not any ripe ones in here. But I, again, have been thinning back all of the older growth of leaves and trying to get them to work on the fruit production. And it's working. This one especially has a lot of big fruit on it right now. And these are a longer season plant. They usually take a lot longer to produce and get to the point where they're ripe, but I feel like they're going to come a little bit early this year too. The lettuce got bitter. I don't blame it. I got bitter when it was hot and humid every day, every day, every day. So I pulled it and reseeded all new lettuce in here yesterday. This is a row, 2 rows actually, of new beans, and they're starting to produce. That trellis has the golden grape tomato on it, and it's doing really well. This trellis has cucumbers, 2 different ages. The cucumbers down on the left were the first ones, and I grew those from seed and put out plants that were about 1 foot tall, and then I waited a month and planted this half. So this half has lots of little tiny baby cucumbers coming. And lots of fresh blossoms. There are cucumbers in here too. And the pollinators have been in here like crazy. Again, to keep these getting pollinated and to keep them happy, I've been every other week coming out and trimming about 20 to 25% of the biggest, oldest leaves off of the vines, so there's more air, there's more light, and it puts those flowers out in the open so that the pollinators can see them and can come and find them. So we still have cucumbers coming. If you think you want some for pickling, you'll need to let me know so I can watch for them. They grow so quickly right now. Like this one is about the size of my thumb, and I will leave it there for about 3 days and it'll be a big fat cucumber. But we'll have a lot of nice cucumbers at the farm stand tomorrow. This bed has carrots, which those were planted on June 26th. So we will have carrots from those, I don't know, the end of August, the first week of September, just depends on how the weather is. Beets. These are older carrots. I've been picking out of this little patch. This bed also has beets and carrots. And yesterday I planted a couple of short rows of beans in here. There are more zucchini and squash coming. These are the red grape tomatoes, and these plants need some trellising help, but they'll get that another day. I've got peas started for fall pea crop. I've got a bunch at home in the garden too, but here I have, these are the peas that we did in the spring. And then this is a new one to me. It's called Wando. And it's supposed to be a short bush type pea that doesn't need trellising, which means I can plant it in more places. It's only supposed to get about 18 inches tall. The pods are supposed to be a little bit shorter, but the peas are also full-size sweet peas. So I'm going to test these out and see how they do. It'd be nice to be able to just tuck a couple of short rows of peas like this in a lot of other areas in the garden and not necessarily have to have a trellis to hold them up. There's a row of spinach down in the front of this bed. I don't know if you can see that. And then back here at the back, I have some gourds that I'm hoping will really start to take off here in the next week or so. But I'm going to keep those a secret. They're a new variety and they should be pretty fun. So that's the update on the garden. Some things have gone, some things are coming, some things have gone and are coming again. I planted 2 6-foot rows of beans here in the middle of the garden, so they should do well regardless of the temperatures, hot or cold. Things have gotten really tall and full and bountiful. Here's the pollinator bed. There's always so much activity here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the videos. Let me know if you have any questions or if you're having any trouble with your plants and you need some help. I'll certainly give you the best information that I can give. I'm going to go home and have some lunch. Hope you're well, hope you're happy, and I hope to see you soon at the farm stand. Take care. Bye.